Okay, at this time, I will turn it over to Louis Jones for the election of officers for 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Durr. We're going to do each of these individually. First, we will elect a president, then we'll elect a vice president, then we will discuss the administrator. We'll start in just a minute. I'm going to open the floor for nominations for president. You don't have to raise your hand and be recognized. Just say who you want to nominate. If more than one person is nominated, we will vote on the people individually. But if the first one gets a majority of the votes cast, that'll be the only vote. But we will not vote if there's more than one nomination. We won't just have one vote and you pick A or B. We'll vote on the people individually. So, are there any nominations for the office of president?
I'd like to nominate Richard Dewitt for president.
All right. And we don't need a second for nominations.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Glenn Scriver for president.
Any other nominations?
I would nominate Richard Dewitt.
Okay. He's already been nominated, but yeah, that's good. Anybody else?
I'd like to make a motion that we close the nomination.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and second to close the nominations. Does anybody have any discussion about strictly closing the nominations? All right, all in favor of closing the nomination, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, before we vote, I'm going to allow the public to comment. And this is just on the vote that we're fixing to have on president. Is there any member of the public that wants to comment? Yes, sir. And just like any public comment, this will be limited to 3 minutes, please.
It's my understanding that this full jury, did not know about the $120,000 offer from the city back in May. That information was withheld from all of you. That $120,000 was refused by someone on this jury. That nullified the offer. A counteroffer from the city was put forth, and the amount was more than $120,000, at which time you rejected the city's offer and began to search alternatives. The definition of malfeasance: intentionally doing something either legally or morally wrong, which no one has the right to do. It always involves dishonesty, illegality, or knowingly exceeding authority for improper reason. Malfeasance is distinguished from misfeasance, which is committing a wrong by error or mistakes, negligence, or inadvertence, but not by intentionally doing wrong. Once all of you found out about this, some of you apologized to the public and wanted to go on record changing your position, which is a noble gesture. Those of you who did nothing with this information are now complicit with the one who committed malfeasance. Last of all, failing in your position as stewards of your constituents of this parish. Do you know confession is soothing and healthy for your soul and a balm for mending relationships? The 6 hardest words to say: I admit I made a mistake. That's confession. The following 4 words are cleansing. Would you forgive me? Failure to walk in the light as he is in the light, thus we have fellowship one with another. We had to go through this ambulance committee meeting debacle. And in the midst of these meetings, there arose a nefarious narrative from anonymous jurors convening a covert meeting to threaten and accuse the administrator of alleged charges of certain improprieties about something ambiguous that was serious enough to call for his resignation. It reminded me of the XYZ affair that occurred under John Adams' administration. After finding out about this bullying meeting, 4 jurors went public in the name and signature of support for the administrator, thus walking in the light, while the covert crew said, no comment.
Sir, your 3 minutes up. Would you quickly conclude, please?
Confession is soothing and healthy for your soul and a balm for mending relationships. The 6 hardest words to say, I admit I made a mistake. That's confession. The following 4 words are for cleansing. Would you forgive me? I looked up the word racketeering. The extortion of money or advantage by threat or force.
Sir, your time is up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That concludes your comments. Thank you. And I will say, for the benefit of everybody, I don't make the rules. The policy is public comments limited to 3 minutes per person. I'm strictly following the rules that have been established by this board.